What's up guys, today I'm going over some martial arts or fighting manhwa, manga and anime I'm currently watching and reading, and some that have been recommended that I plan to start shortly. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. Now onto the video. First I'm going to talk about the manhwa known as How to Fight or Viral Hit. If you don't remember, manhwa is pretty much the Korean version of manga. So this manhwa known as How to Fight, I started about a week ago. I'm about halfway through until getting caught up with there being around 59 translated chapters at the release of this video. I'm at around chapter 28 or something like that, so I'm a little bit under halfway, but so far it's been absolute greatness. It also shares the same universe as another popular manhwa known as Lookism that has actually concluded, and this is pretty much a same author, same universe, and pretty much a story. I haven't read Lookism. Let me know if you have read it, your thoughts on that, whether I should check it out. But I started reading this and it's absolute fire. As always, it has the martial arts and fighting aspect all the way through, but as a whole it has a pretty solid story as well, more than many other fighting manga and anime where story is kind of second to the fighting, while with this, story is kind of up there alongside the fighting, and it's very well done. The main appeal of the story is how YouTube, or a version of YouTube in this story, has pretty much taken over the world, and all these kids, you know, try and become popular. I believe it's called NewTubers in the manhwa. So we got the main character who gets bullied by all these other popular students who have, you know, all these thousands, sometimes millions of subscribers on this, you know, YouTube channel, and he decides to end up starting his own after getting beat down by all these people, where he becomes pretty much a fighter, where he gets his friend to film him going to fight other people in the form of like sniping, so it looks like someone just took a random video of the fight, but then he grows his fans, that he gets stronger and stronger, and then he gets challenged by other people who also want to grow their own, you know, YouTube channel, get famous, get money, and his whole reason for, you know, making this channel is to, you know, pay for his mother's medical bills who's actually dying. And apart from all that, he gets, you know, stronger and stronger as the story progresses. He starts out weak as shit, gets destroyed by pretty much anyone. A little skinny boy just gets rolled in smoke until he finds this channel wanting to get stronger. This, you know, big buff guy who wears a chicken mask, gets no views on his videos, but he makes videos of how to fight certain martial arts. And he, as the story progresses, has been watching more and more of his videos, following the training that the chicken man has, you know, told him to do, and he's actually being able to beat more and more people. He has faced many defeats and mostly relies on tactics and, you know, counters to win most of these fights, because technique and physical strength wise he is most of the time very inferior to his opponents, so he relies on counters to their specific martial art or, you know, techniques, such as putting like water everywhere on the floor so someone who's a kicking focus will struggle, getting them in tight quarters where people who fight with kicks can't actually excel in that regard to, you know, grapple them and stuff like that. So get to see his training, him watching the videos, get to see his channel, get to see his relationships, friends, his struggles in his real world, and this everything like that. Absolute greatness. I plan to continue reading it and maybe check out other works from the creator such as Lookism and Life Completely Ruined, which also shares the same universe. But yep, highly recommend checking out this manhwa. On to the next one. Now I'll talk about a martial arts anime I recently started. It also has a long run manga series. It's called Kenichi the Mightiest Disciple. I got recommended it from someone in my Discord. A lot of this stuff has been recommended, but I did find How to Fight on my own. But a lot of the stuff I'm going to be talking about now was recommended to me from the Discord that everyone should join. Link is in the description. So I was going to read the manga for it, but honestly I haven't watched an anime from start to finish in quite a while now, so I decided to watch the anime for Kenichi the Mightiest Disciple. I heard the anime is pretty good, and so far it's been decent. I'm not the biggest fan of the main character Kenichi, but I'm around episode, I believe, 28 currently, so I'm about halfway through the anime. I believe there's like 55 episodes of the anime so far. I'm about halfway through that. Kenichi at the start, didn't really like him, but as the story has progressed, I have kind of enjoyed him a lot more, but nowhere near my favorite character. There is, you know, the training from the underdog or from a weakling to an absolute Chad that I can see coming. Most likely as the story progresses, he'll get stronger and stronger and become an absolute Chad. The other characters are pretty decent, such as all the masters and actually Kenichi's best friend, this devil dude. I can't quite remember his name, but honestly, one of my favorite characters. And a main aspect of Kenichi is the comedy. There is a lot of comedy throughout this. If you're not really into comedy that much, it may not be the best series. Me personally don't don't mind all the comedy, but I do quite enjoy the comedy with his best friend, the devil dude. I can't even remember his name, but yeah, that dude's comedy appeal in the story is pretty good. The comedy regarding the masters is decent, but sometimes I feel that the comedy is done too much and kind of takes away from more serious moments. But recently it's got better and better, and I'm enjoying it so far. I'll most likely finish it within the next 2 or 3 weeks. I'll maybe do a review video on the whole series, maybe start reading the manga. Let me know your thoughts of Kenichi the Mighty's Disciple down in the comments. But yeah, I'm enjoying it so far, and I highly recommend it if you're into comedy, fighting, martial arts series. The next one I'm going to talk about is a manga by the name of Tough. There's actually 2 manga series. There's part 1, which is a total of 295 chapters, and then there's part 2, which finished at 426 chapters. So there's quite a bit of reading. I haven't read very much. I've read like the first 10 or so chapters of part 1. It was recommended by a mad lad in the Discord, but let me tell you, it is a little bit tough to read at times, but so far it's been pretty decent. It's, from what I've gathered so far, it's mainly focused on training and more street fights, but I assume it's going to become more of like tournament based fighting later on. If you have read this series, let me know your thoughts of it down in the comments. I probably won't get to reading all of it, in the near future, but I will check it out at some point. But I just wanted to, talk about in this video if people are eager to read a new martial arts series or haven't heard of this series known as Tough. I'll put it on screen now, which is the first one, which is the second one. There's also side stories to it as well if you want to check those out. The main character seems to be like a rebellious person that has pretty decent technique and strength. We haven't learned too much about him, but he's a pretty cool character. Don't mind him. Most of the side characters haven't really got to explore too much. I don't know too much about the series, but I heard it's a pretty decent martial arts series. So if you haven't checked out Tough, I highly recommend checking it out. Let me know your thoughts of it. And the final series I'm going to talk about in today's video is another manga. I haven't actually started reading this yet, but I do plan to read this in the near future. It goes by the name Garuden. It's actually Baki before Baki became a thing. It's done by a different author, but the artist of this manga is the same person who did Baki, or is doing Baki currently. And pretty much started before Baki. It has a lot of overlapping characters from what I've heard. The art style, of course, is very similar. There's a lot of great fights I've heard throughout, very similar to Baki. You can just see on screen now, the characters who look very similar to later Baki characters. The fights look similar, and also apparently a lot of the fights throughout the series is better than the ones in Baki, because the writing for the story is superior to Baki, because as we know, Baki's writing isn't the best at times. But yeah, I will be checking this out. I will be making separate videos on it to talk about it a little bit more in more detail. Want to read it? I believe it is finished at a total of 238 chapters, with there being some side stories, spin-off, and also a prequel that doesn't have very many chapters so far. But yeah, I'll be checking this out in the near future. Let me know your thoughts on any of these series you've recommended. I have other videos recommending martial art, manhwa, and manga, and anime. If you haven't checked those out, make sure to do that. Let me know some other series you would like me to check out down in the comments. And yep, that's it guys. Peace.